Well, as I had promised, now I am here. I would want to take us through how to write the program using while statement. So I want us to write a program that is able to compute, instead not compute, but rather to display numbers between 1 and 10. So our work is very simple. Maybe let me just display it here, and we're gonna go it this way here. Our work is to display numbers between 1 and 10 using a while loop. So this case using while loop. We want to do that very quickly. And how you're going to do that, you're going just to define one simple parameter, which is a container to store your data, and then you're going to loop it. That is, you're going to run it as long as that condition of the numbers not being more than 10 will be there, then the loop will continue running. So let's get to the code blocks environment, where we are going to do something, and this is what we are going to do. So now here we go. We are going to define the variable. So I would say maybe my variable is int number, like that. So this is a variable, and it is important to initialize it with a value like 1, because we want to, that is the lower boundary, 1, and we are going to scale it every other moment as we go up. So I can of course include this is what we call single line comment. I would just say that a program to display numbers between 1 and 10. So that would be someone who has never opened this program. When they meet it, they'll be able to know this is what the program is going to do. So once I have defined my number as my variable, I'm not going to allow the user to enter the value here. It is the system which is now doing it. That's why I'm doing initialization. So once I have done that, I need to say I'm using while. So we will need to introduce a while as a statement, while. And then we give the condition, just as we are able to see it here. We give the condition, which is this one here. This is the condition, and from the condition we are able to execute what we want. So while, and then we are saying our number, in this case it is number, our number is less or equal to 10. That is to say, we are going to include 10 as a boundary. It's a boundary that is going to be part of this. Then we have to now give the code that we want to execute down here. So what are we going to execute? What are we going to execute here? Very simple. We want to execute what we just print the numbers. So printf, we are printf, then we do %i, %i like that, and then we give us the number which is up there, that is number. Just write number here. We are referring to that storage like that, and probably we want to print them on a, we can print them on a new line. That will be okay. So we will want to do that here, print on a new line like that. So if you run this program at the moment, you might actually crash your system. Actually, the best way to create a virus is not, a virus is not necessarily a program that damages your system. You can have what we call denial of service. You have a program that runs a loop that does not terminate, and that is very dangerous. So be very careful as you write these programs. So we will need to say inside this particular loop, the block of this statement, we are going to say that that number and then we plus plus. Okay, so the first time it is going to execute this line, the second time it is going to execute this line plus what has already been incremented. And as simple as that, you have the program that will be able to do the work that you require. So let's test our program to see whether it is able to print the numbers as we have said. And yes, there you can see there are numbers. You can see them from here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 10. So the moment it hits 10, the loop is escaped. It terminates at that point. And that is how to write a program using what we call the while statement. Yes, if you have any question, you can reach out to me down there. I'll be able to answer your question. And so allow me then to transit from here and introduce how then can we do the same problem. Now, instead of using this was a program to display, this was using while. So let's change so that we don't use while. We now want to use what we call do while. We want to use do then while. Okay, so ideally, let me just show you the structure of that other program. If you come here, you can see the do is coming before you have the while. Okay, so that is exactly the thing we are going to change in our program, and we see whether it is able to do the same thing as we are saying or it is not able to do. So right here, we have to change this program. Now we are going to use do while. So we are saying do, and do is a keyword, so do, and then we want to execute something, and what we want to execute is this one here. Well, let's just copy and paste it here. This is what we want to execute. Okay, we want to execute that one, and we are saying as we do the execution, we will do the execution of this. We are doing this while. So if the first condition is not true, I mean not the first condition, but rather if this condition here, this one given here, is not true, because this is a condition and these are the statements. Okay, if this is not true, this program will execute only once. But in our case, let's try and run to see. There is a problem. Yes, and I expected that to come. You should also be able to do the this is an error expected, this before return. So where is your return? While. In that particular while, you are supposed to have terminated this statement here. And then let's try to run it again. Sorry for that. While. Okay, so you see the same result but a different methodology altogether. So while and do while are used almost in the same manner, but you need to be very careful and know when do you apply while and when do you apply do while. Okay, if you want the program to execute at least once, even if the condition is false, then you're gonna use what you call do while. And just like that, you've been able to learn two concepts. Allow me to proceed and give us a third part of it, and I want to do away with this. I want to change this one, and I want to use what they call using for loop. Now in for loop, remember I had told you earlier on that in the first video, in the for loop has got these three items. The first one is initialization, then you have the condition provided, and then you are going to do the increment, and then inside the body of that function, you tell us what exactly the program is supposed to do. Okay, so let's get into the code blocks again, and we do that very quickly. So here we're going to say that int maybe let's just say int num1, like that would be our integer, and we are saying here that for we want to use the same format. We want to print numbers from 1 to 10 using for loop. So you're saying for, and then we say for num, okay, for num, we are doing initialization for num1, then we initialize it with 1, okay? And then we put a semicolon, and then we now supply the condition where we say the same num, num1 is less or equal to 10, and then we again put another semicolon, just like that. Yeah, there were semicolons along the way, and then we now give us our increment. We supply the increment here. We just say again num1 plus plus. So this element here is for the increment. So the first time the program is going to run, it is going to print this value here. The second time it's going to run, it's going to add 1, and then it becomes 2, like that until it comes to the end. So I need to introduce the block here, and the block here is simply to say printf, the block statement here, and then we are saying it is %i, okay, and then we say that is gonna be comma, and then we give that num1 like that, and then you have to terminate this at that point. So printf %i, we want this one to begin on a new line, so let's try it on a new line. And if you wanted it to be on a tab, probably we would want to tab this. So let's try and tab it instead. So let's try to run the program, and you can see it generates it as fast as you can imagine, okay? And that is how to do it if you are using the for loop. Very simple. I've just tabbed, I've done the horizontal spacing rather than having it going downwards. So this loops are usually important, especially when you are dealing with the data that is recurring and you don't have to write it every other time. I'm very sure that we could change the way things are working and be able to look at a different, like I can change the way this thing is working here. Let's say, for example, instead of saying printf %i, maybe let me just say I'm going to print here, let me show you. If I'm going to print and say here you are excellent. I don't know if that is the right spelling. So if I'm going to run this code, it's going to print you are excellent 10 times on the screen, okay? And let me just have it on a new line so that you can see what I'm saying. We don't have to necessarily just print you know, we don't have to just necessarily print what? Print the numbers. We can be able to execute maybe a statement for some time. Like you can see now, this is excellent 10 times, okay? Or you just wanted to output here maybe a star, an asterisk like this. So when you click on here again, you'll be able to see those stars the way they are arranged here. So we can use this to develop, or rather even make programs that draw shapes in a different manner. And basically that is how to deal with these loops. I'm very sure that you will be able now to handle quite complex scenarios. I've just given you very simple ones. If you are to write a program probably that will determine if a number is prime, you can do that now using the for loop, maybe given a range, and many others. I believe you enjoyed your your time as you're following this tutorial. What you need to do is practice, and I promise you will gain more skills as you practice along. Otherwise, I wish you the very best in your studies, in your everything that you're doing. Good time. If you found this useful, like it, subscribe, and share and reshare. All the best.